This is Professor Michael Chapman. I'm one of the most experienced IVF doctors in Australia. I believe that an important part that I can contribute is to educate patients in relation to fertility, infertility, and all that involves. These series of podcasts help to educate you. I hope they are helpful to you. If you wish to know more, however, I'm more than happy to have you contact me via email, which is profmchapman@gmail.com, or make an appointment to see me on 9138 4222.
The next question we've had sent in, Prof, what are the moral considerations regarding disposal of unused embryos?
Well, the morality of it is they're not babies. I mean, that's the view. Now, that's not necessarily the view held recently by a court in Arizona. It wasn't Arizona, it was in the United States, who deemed that once you have an embryo, that's a human being, and if you destroy that embryo, it's murder. And a particular clinic was broken into, and somebody turned up over a batch of embryos, and there was significant trouble subsequent to that, as the parents of those embryos were particularly, obviously, upset, and the culprit faced significant charges. And the court, against most people's opinion, took this view that it was a human being. But we end up with, probably in Australia, a figure has been thrown around of 100,000 embryos sitting in storage that will never be used because the family has already been completed. You have successful IVF, you have it again, you have your family, 2 or 3 babies, and you end up with 1 or 2 embryos left over. Making the decision to thaw them and to let them demise is a difficult one. The alternative is to keep on storing them, keep paying the storage fees to the unit, and not face the decision. It used to be that laws in various states said you could only keep them for a certain number of years, but either 5 or 10. That's now basically gone, and the onus is on the parents to decide what to do with those extra embryos. Obviously, in an ideal world, in some people's view, now ideal is obviously in the eye of the beholder, but in an ideal world, given that they are pregnancies, and not babies, but they are potentially pregnancies, donating them to a woman or a couple who, because of ovarian problems, maybe age, are not producing their own eggs, and therefore they are comfortable taking an embryo and having it donated to them. And I certainly have patients where that has happened. That donation process obviously needs to be thought through very carefully, because in the eyes of many patients, they see it as their baby. It's like adopting a child to some extent. So the conversations that our counsellors have in that situation, and we talk to both the donor and the recipient, and the donor and the recipient together, include obviously how you're going to tell the child where they came from, and what potential involvement the donor family might have with the ultimate recipient child, since he or she probably does have 2 or 3 other identical or siblings with the same genetics makeup. So it's an individual choice, and no one can lay down the law as to what should or shouldn't happen.
And don't forget that you can access all the previous episodes by going to our website www.theivfjourney.com and select IVF Journey podcast from the navigation menu.